Hi there, and welcome back to our shop. Today we're going to make a little transition. Since we've now talked about the process of operating a manual mill, we're going to transition into how to run a CNC mill. This one is going to be more automated so that you have less work to do. It's a much more efficient way to produce a part. So follow along with me. Some of the concepts are going to be familiar, but the way we achieve those concepts may be very different. So the first thing I'll show you is just how to get familiar with the computer itself, which is going to control this mill. So the first thing I need to do is get to a screen where I can see my X and Y and Z value readouts. So what I need, well, I have them right here, but if you're not on this screen already, you press this button right here. It says PGM on the bottom. That just stands for program. Okay, so when I press that, I can get different views. I can either see my part pulled up as it should read out what the cuts should look like. I don't have anything in there at the moment. Or I can press it again and get my X, Y, and Z values. Before I do any of this, I need to home my machine. So that's as simple as pressing this button that says find home. And you can see that the computer has just moved the table for me. So once the machine is homed, you can see it says down here, 108, manually move Z-axis to reference. So all they're asking me to do is move this handle down a little bit to where my Z value would be. And so it should, there. Now the computer, it just wanted me to move this so that it could realize that it's safe and ready for me to start moving things around again. So the first thing I need to do is use my edge finder. It's a familiar concept to us from our manual mill, but the way we're going to get that done is different. So here, I'm actually going to use my computer to step over rather than having to turn the crank by hand. So as you'll see, I have these little arrow buttons. Okay, these are just my X and Y values. So I can step the machine over that way or this way or back or toward me. So I'm going to first zero my, let's see, which one do I want to do? I want to get my zero for my X value here. So what I'm going to do is click this button over here. It says move table. I don't know if you could hear that on the video, but I just heard a sound, a little click. That's the sound of the computer taking over controls of our handles. So I can no longer move this handle by hand. The computer's in control of that. And so in order for me to move over to my part, I'm going to have to use these buttons. Now I can take steps that are very small, down to the thousandth of an inch here. It says step 0.001. I can do 1/100th of an inch where it says step 01, or 10ths of an inch where it says step 1. At the moment, I'm pretty far away from the edge of my part, so I'm going to press 10ths of an inch. And at this point, it's as simple as pressing this button a few times over and over until I get close enough to my part that I want to move in 1/1000th of an inch. So let's just take a look, see, and you can observe how the computer will move the machine. There's a 10th, there's another 10th, there's another 10th. Now I feel I'm getting pretty close here, so I'm actually going to jump all the way over to my 1/1000th button at this point and move it more closely. So I'm going to start my spindle up and wait until I make contact, and then I'm going to back off. And once this bumps over here, I'm going to step my machine back 1/1000th of an inch so that I'm perfectly up against my edge finder. So it's going to get a little noisy here for a moment. Just follow along and watch as I step this in using the computer's controls. Pressing the button. I'm actually pressing it over and over again. You can probably hardly see it move because we are moving at 1/1000th of an inch with each press of the button. Okay, we're getting close now. There it is. I can see that I've made contact. My edge finder has moved, so I'm going to back off by 1/1000th of an inch. Okay, and now I'm ready for the next step of the process. So I can actually turn my machine off. Notice that I am spinning in forward rather than reverse. That's important so that you make sure when you have your bit in there that you're moving in such a way that the bit will actually bite into the material. So I've done that. I am going to exit the computer controls for just a moment. I'll go back into it here shortly. I need to next simply bring my table down a little bit so that my edge finder is up above my material, and I'm going to step, this should be familiar with our manual mills, I'm going to step my piece in half the diameter of the edge finder so that when I put my bit in, it's actually right at the edge of the material. So I'll go back to move table. I will step it in 2/10 of an inch first. 1, 2, and then 5/100ths of an inch to get to my 0.25 or quarter of an inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now that I've found my reading for my edge of my x-axis, I'm ready to press exit, and I should be able to hit 0x and then press the use button, and I should see my value on the screen change back to 0. I'm just trying to get the glare out of the way here. There we go. So again, once I got to my 0 point on my part, I press the 0x button right here, and I press the use button over here, and it changes my value on my computer to 0, so it knows that's the 0 point on that axis. So now that I've set my 0 for my x-axis, I'm ready to do the same for my y value. Okay, so here I am again, now over top of the 0 edge point on my y-axis. So again, just to give you a quick demonstration here, all I need to do is exit out of my step procedures, and then I will then hit 0y, and I will hit use, and that should give me a 0 value on my y-axis. So we're good there now too.